Welcome to Symphony Sounds, a program of your Billings Symphony. Today, I am joined by guest conductor Robert Moody. Robert is currently the conductor and director for the Memphis Symphony Orchestra, as well as the Arizona Music Fest. So thank you for being here today with me, Robert, and let's dive in. What aspects of working with the Billings Symphony Orchestra, our chorale, along with our Montana State University Billings Choir, are you looking forward to most?
Well, anytime I go to guest conduct somewhere, I think I'm looking forward to sort of just like, surveying the musical landscape of a part of the world where I've never conducted before. I don't know if I'll make it. I hope so, but I have a little bit of a quest in mind that I eventually will have conducted in all 50 states. So this is my first time to conduct in Montana, and I'm very excited about that. Also, the Brahms Requiem specifically, I think is one of the greatest pieces of music ever written, and I think it's timely that we do it now. It's one of those pieces, some music exists because the music is beautiful, and you don't have to overthink it. You just enjoy the music for its beauty. Some music exists, in fact, most music exists because it has some ability to help move the soul. It might be, in the case of the Brahms Requiem, I think this is a very healing piece of music. And Lord knows, I think in 2024 and all of the sort of turmoil and, us versus them that we can't seem to get away from, we need healing and coming together more than ever. And that's the kind of music we're going to have in this concert, which is great.
Definitely. Brahms Requiem is one of my particular favorites as well of all the requiems that are out there, just because of, like you said, it is a very healing piece. And I'm excited to see how you lead it and how you conduct it, because every conductor has their flair and how they motion through different things and they move the orchestra and the audience together. So that being said, what drew you to want to collaborate with the Billings Symphony in this particular concert?
I got a call from my management, and they said Billings Symphony and their music director, Ann Harrigan, are looking for someone who conducts the Brahms Requiem, who has specifically conducted the Requiem in English. And I'm a big champion of doing the Brahms Requiem in English. And in fact, I've conducted the work multiple times and only in English. And there's a good story behind that. The Brahms Requiem is called Ein deutsches Requiem. That's German for a German Requiem. And so it made history in that this was the first major requiem that was not written in Latin. So every requiem before then, the Verdi Requiem, the Mozart Requiem, the great requiems were always written in the language of the Catholic Church, in Latin. And Brahms wrote in German, number one. Number two, he did not follow the specific Catholic Mass liturgy of a requiem. A requiem is a Catholic Mass to mourn and remember and honor the dead. So instead of using the Catholic liturgy, Brahms chose sort of a hodgepodge or a potpourri of scripture, various scriptural texts that together do the same thing, honor and mourn those loved ones who have passed on. And a lot of people, because it was called a German Requiem, have presumed that meant, well, he meant for it to be sung every time in German. There's a lot of evidence that is not the case. In fact, Brahms wrote more than once to his publisher and to colleagues and said, in hindsight, I wish I would have called it a people's requiem, not a German requiem, because I wanted to write a requiem that was immediately understood by the people listening. So no one in the congregation, in the audience has to sit and immediately try to translate or, especially in the 21st century, presume that we all speak Latin fluently. Those are, I think, the things that brought me to this project and the reasons I think it's important that we're doing it. And the Billings made this choice. I think Maestro Harrigan said, let's do it in English. So I'm very, very proud to be part of this sort of idea that's going to come to fruition.
Absolutely. And I know from our chorale and speaking with the director of the MSU Billings Choir, they're very excited to perform this in English as well because it will help our audience understand and know what's going on, even though it will be in the playbill as well with all of it so people can read along if they would like to. But I really appreciate that you are bringing it more to the people's standpoint and not just limiting it to a Catholic or a German audience, which is very important. I know you have such a huge experience with conducting, and you have done an extensive amount of conducting throughout the world and the United States. What are you specifically, I know we talked a little bit about this, but what can we expect and what are you most excited for from your standpoint, as well as what do you expect the audience can take away from this particular performance?
Well, I would say this. I am primarily my career is as an orchestral conductor. I'm the music director of the Memphis Symphony in Tennessee, also of a really wonderful festival orchestra out in Arizona, in Scottsdale, Arizona. However, even though I've spent most of my 30 years of my career as an orchestral conductor, my degree is in choral conducting. And when I was in, high school and college, I went to an undergrad with a really strong choral program, one of those great college chorales. And that's, I think, the most beloved music to me. The Brahms Requiem, the Verdi Requiem, the Vaughan Williams Dona Nobis Pacem. These choral works, I think, are the pinnacle of music. It brings the most amazing instrument, the human voice, alongside the most amazing of instruments created by humans, from strings to woodwinds to percussion to brass. And that sort of marriage of voices and instrumental voices is always extremely special for me. And I think I have a reputation and a good, if people were to say, well, what kind of conductor is, Moody? I think a lot of people would say, well, he's a big proponent of the great choral works and one of the, most, I don't know, prolific conductors of the great choral works. So there are a few things I do with the two soloists, for example, that will add to the dramatic experience. And that would also go further to say the way I encourage the chorus to paint the text and sort of emphasize certain parts of the text. It'll make more sense if you come to the concert, but I enjoy that aspect of it. It's not opera, we're not staging anything, but nonetheless, there's got to be a commitment to getting the meaning of the text across. And I love that part. So
Absolutely. And it will be so beautiful. It's going to be well worth your time to come here and for our audience to come and experience it in person. It's a fabulous experience for everyone across the board, for I know our orchestra and our chorale to get the experience behind you and have that extra tutelage along with being able to take away pieces and parts of it that will really impact their lives and be transformative, whether you're in the audience or on stage. So please make sure to come on down on February 10th to check out the Brahms Requiem in Song for Humanity and experience conductor and maestro Robert Moody in person. It will be a fabulous time, and thank you so much again for joining me today. It was very amazing to be able to talk to you.
my pleasure. Great to be with you.